It's already started. Aaron Glenn has instantly delivered on his promise to New York Jets fans that there is going to be a ton of competition within this team to bring out the best in everyone, and we are seeing that in a major way for one of the most important positions for new quarterback Justin Fields, and this will have a huge implication on the season and a lot of future time going forwards, and we are going to break this all down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. Guys, I know we ask in every video, but if you're part of that 69% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, make sure to subscribe for daily New York Jets content, the best place for all New York Jets content. But let's jump into it. Again, a lot to discuss. Is Aaron Glenn, Matt, he's already delivering on the promise that he said when he basically just, without any qualms, is like, there's going to be competition. Not a single position is locked up. And basically, we've already seen that a ton with the rookie camp, and now what we're seeing is the New York Jets follow up on that, as there is a ton of competition right now between two key tight ends in Jeremy Ruckert and Mason Taylor. These are the only two guys who have a real opportunity to be the starting tight end, the tight end number one. As we know, Stone Smart is really a depth piece, and Zach Kuntz is special teams more than anything, but also, again, just depth. So right now, it's between these two guys. One of them will be the tight end one of them will be the tight end two. I think many people are expecting Mason Taylor, who this regime brought in to be the tight end one, especially considering they used a second-round pick on him. But Rich Cimini talked a whole lot about this, and he said that to say this is a big year for tight end Jeremy Ruckert would be an understatement. The former third-round pick is entering the final year of his rookie contract, still looking to establish himself as a starter. His future is up in the air, especially with Mason Taylor's arrival as a second-round pick. But he sounded more confident than ever, with Ruckert saying, "This is the best I've ever felt in my career. Going into the season, physically, mentally, emotionally, I love everything that the new staff is doing. I love the way they've approached the first meeting of phase one. I love the way they talk to us as a team. The way these workouts have been going, it fits me. It's the kind of team and the kind of system that I want to play in, as far as the culture of just coming to work every day and being a tough, hard-nosed, work-hard football team. And that you can't survive here if you don't have these traits. It makes me want to get out and go work for somebody." So we can already see that Jeremy Ruckert, Matt, it's something that we've talked about a whole lot. The New York Jets want you here if you want to be here, and if you don't, they'll show you the door. Jeremy Ruckert showing that he very much wants to be a part of this New York Jets team and is very hungry to see some success and to really get his career going after 3 somewhat lackluster years where he was sitting behind Tyler Conklin most of the time.
Aaron Glenn already making good on one of his promises to promote competition on the practice field. Right now, we're already getting a competition between Mason Taylor and Jeremy Ruckert. Chris, you said most people are expecting Mason Taylor to win that job. I am most people. Mason Taylor definitely has the leg up talent-wise, being a second-round pick versus a third-round pick. But don't discount the fact that Jeremy Ruckert isn't going to have a chance here. Definitely is a guy with a lot of talent who has an opportunity still to win that starting job at the tight end position for the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn came out and said there is no depth chart right now, so every spot is open. Both of these guys going to be looking for that one and only starting tight end one spot. But I really liked one of the other quotes that came out of Jeremy Ruckert's mouth. It was something that doesn't sound like what he said wasn't something that players in the past have said about the New York Jets. We saw the report card for the New York Jets organization was really poor as it came to just staffs in general. But what Jeremy Ruckert said about how he loves everything that the new staff is doing and loves the way that they approached the first meeting of phase one of this program, that is perfect to hear. Sounds like even though Aaron Glenn is a first-time head coach, he is doing things right. He's doing things to earn the respect of the veterans, and just overall, he's leading the ship in the right direction. Something that can't be said for the past regimes of the New York Jets.
Absolutely, and I mean, we've talked about this throughout a lot. How Aaron Glenn was really one of the most NFL-ready head coaches who had never coached as a head coach in the NFL before. Look, he was the defensive coordinator for a Lions defense that was very successful and a Lions team that was very successful. And something Aaron Glenn has mentioned is that he's given a lot of credit to Lions head coach Dan Campbell for sort of letting Glenn lead a lot of practices. He said he felt very prepared for the job, and that's because Dan Campbell was willing to let Aaron Glenn lead a lot of the time and really just get it ready. We saw Dan Campbell literally grooming both his offensive and defensive coordinators into becoming potential head coaches. First of all, you rarely find that in any sport where someone's like, yeah, I'll set this elite guy up to leave and go get a better job elsewhere, which definitely speaks volumes on Dan Campbell and really shows why he's one of the most loved head coaches around the league. You know that man cares, and we're seeing a lot of Dan Campbell in the way that Aaron Glenn coaches this team. They're hard-nosed. They are going to outwork everybody or die trying, and Jeremy Ruckert loves that. Now, obviously, again, look, Ruckert's start to his career was not ideal with the New York Jets. I mean, starting behind Tyler Conklin is fine. He was a third-round pick, and Conklin's an established NFL veteran who was good with the Jets. Last year, Ruckert he played in 17 games, had 18 receptions for 105 yards. That's 5.8 yards per reception. He has not scored a touchdown in the NFL in all 41 games that he's played in, but he had 18 receptions this year compared to, for his career, where the 2 years prior to this, he had a combined 35. So we saw Rucker still get the most burn he's ever really gotten in the NFL last season. This is his chance to show, hey, you brought in a rookie because we really only had one tight end in myself, but I'm going to show you that I'm ready to compete, and I'm not just going to be giving up that tight end one spot, even though nobody expected me to go out and get it. I expect myself to go out and get it. We're getting the exact type of player that Aaron Glenn has talked about in Ruckert, which is a great sign. Now, on top of this, even if Ruckert is the tight end too, Samini highlighted something very important considering the Jets offense with new offensive coordinator Tanner Engstrand came from the Lions, who used a 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers 32% of the time. The Jets only used it 21% last season. Between the Jets having a veteran who clearly, as long as Ruckert keeps talking like this, Aaron Glenn is going to love. I mean, he probably already loves him, but if Ruckert is going to back up everything he's saying, Glenn's going to love him. And there's going to be that interest in using those 12 sets more often. And look, it's not like the Jets receiving core is blowing anyone away, so very likely the Jets will look at this anyway, saying, all right, well, our receiving core is not perfect right now. We have Garrett Wilson, who's great, and a few other options here and there, but we don't have a true wide receiver too. It's going to be this committee role as of where things stand right now. We've seen a bunch of positive stuff about Arian Smith, which we talked about in our last video. We'll probably talk more about Arian Smith as time goes on. Then there's also veterans like Alan Lazard and Josh Reynolds on the team. So there are wide receivers out there, but there's no established wide receiver too. And because the Jets receiving core is not great, we probably will see 2 tight ends out there a good amount, especially because that's what Justin Fields has shown to have interest in throughout his NFL career. He likes throwing to tight ends, and we're going to see how Aaron Glenn goes about using this. I'm definitely excited to see it. I mean, you look at Ruckert in college, his final season, 2021, had 309 yards, 12 yards per reception, 3 touchdowns with Justin Fields throwing him the ball. On top of that, you look at Mason Taylor, who last season had 546 yards, 10 yards per reception, and 2 touchdowns. Look, I'd be shocked if Taylor's not the tight end one. But I do think Ruckert's going to get more of a chance than ever before to show that he's got something in the NFL.
So when we're talking about that tight end too, we have to remember it's not just about receiving. When you're running this 12 personnel, these 2 tight end sets, you're going to be running the football a lot, and that second tight end needs to be able to block. And that is going to give Jeremy Ruckert another opportunity to get on the field if he can turn into a really good run blocker. They're going to find ways to get him involved if he can do that. Love it. Lines up well with that quote he said, where he said, "It makes me want to go out and work for somebody." So, that is kind of like a blue collar mindset, which is the same way those like offensive linemen, blocking tight ends, they're kind of blue collar players. So that type of mentality would fit in perfectly for a blocking tight end. I know Jeremy Ruckert was a vertical threat receiving tight end at Ohio State, but if that's just not in the cards for him at the NFL level, he has to find other ways to impact the offense positively. So it can be through the receiving game, but if that's not going to work out, there are other pathways for a player like him to get on the field, and it starts with blocking. He's got to make sure he, is running people over in the run game, not committing penalties. Penalties, the absolute easiest way to get yourself put back on the bench when fighting for a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 role. He's got a bunch of opportunities. Just got to make sure he, goes out. He's got probably the most talent behind Mason Taylor out of that tight end room. Stone Smart, pretty much a pure receiving tight end. So I'm not expecting a ton of development out of him in the run game department, in the blocking department. So the spot at tight end 2 is easily there for Jeremy Ruckert, but he's got to be willing to put in the work to go out and take it.
So far, it does seem like that is exactly what he's going to do. Also, I'm excited to see this. I did like Jeremy Ruckert just as a player when they brought him in. It was an exciting draft class in general for the Jets when they made that in 2021. So there's a lot to like going into just with all the picks they had, including Sauce, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall. He was part of that draft class. And in typical Joe Douglas fashion, he killed that beginning of the draft and then really did not towards the later rounds. But Ruckert's still got a chance. He's got his old college quarterback with him, so he has that connection already built in. Fields will look to him as someone he understands and knows well. And on top of that, he's got a whole new coach for really going into the offseason for the first time in his career. Instead of 3 years in with Robert Saleh, what we're seeing is him go into this team where he's got a new head coach. Everything's resetting itself as it is already. So this is his chance. And hopefully Jeremy Ruckert takes that. It'd be cool to see him break out. And this is the year if he's going to do it, Matt.
Yeah, just like you said, he's got one more year on his contract. He's going to have to show up because he is a later draft pick made by the previous regime. So Darren Mougey is going to have no problem cutting him if he does, deem that that's where he's got to draw the line. Not every player is going to be able to make the roster. So Mougey, without extra connections to Jeremy Ruckert has to prove to him that he is worthy of a roster spot, not just that he's too good to cut. He's got to show our guys, I'm someone who you want to keep around. And Aaron Glenn loves people over players. Definitely sounds like he's saying all the right things to be the right person to be in the New York Jets locker room.
Yep, just a matter of if you can also be the right player at the same time. But, Jeremy, we're rooting for you over at Jets Digest. Guys, we're also rooting for you guys to subscribe to the channel. So make sure to subscribe, like this video, turn on post notifications if you want Jeremy Ruckert to break out. Have a great day and go Jets, and also go Knicks. I don't know why I waited.